You know what's crazy? You will work 90,000 hours in your lifetime. So when people say, I want to find my purpose, it's a good question to ask. Now, I know you can have purpose outside of work, but dude, 90,000 hours? Let's hope that you find something purposeful. So in this video, we're going to hit that from a few different angles. I want to give you 4 questions that really helped me find my purpose. This isn't just another video that you just, oh, okay, that's nice, and you forget about, click. No, like you literally write these down. You sit down for an hour and you journal on these 5 questions. I promise you are going to be so much closer to finding your purpose than just if you let another year go by on autopilot. If you like this video and you want to reinvent yourself in 10 weeks, I'll link down below our Metamorphic program where you can apply and see if we can genuinely help you. All right, let's get into the video. This was one I used when I was in my mom's basement. I was 30 grand in debt. I had just graduated college. The girlfriend I was dating at the time broke up with me. I was in a really low spot, and I had so many options in front of me. If you know anything about psychology, when people are forced to choose between 2 products, the decision they make, they're more confident on, and they're actually happier with the decision they make. But if they're forced to choose, you in this case, you're forced to choose between like 34 different products, you're actually less satisfied and you're less happy with your decision. Where I'm going with this is you might be like I was. I was 22 and I'm looking at all the different paths I could go down. How are you to choose? It feels like you're scared to make the wrong choice. Is that oftentimes we're so scared to make a decision, not because it might work out, but because it might fail. So this question is to remove all the fear of failure from you, to remove all the analysis paralysis of the 50 different things you could do. What would you do if you knew you could not fail? Now, be very careful, because I promise you ask yourself this tomorrow or whenever you do these questions, watch how fast that inner critic voice shoots down every single option. In fact, I know this because in our Metamorphic program, the first 2 weeks, we literally take people and we have them design this 2.0 dream character. It's really powerful. And one of the most common questions we get is some people are like, I just feel like every idea I come up with, I get it shot down by this voice inside my head. And so we literally say like, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? Suspend that voice just for like 20 minutes, set a timer, and for that 20 minutes, you answer this question and that voice isn't allowed to enter. And then after the 20 minutes, what happens is they come out with a list of like 40 different things that was like suppressed or repressed down by this critic who's telling them to be realistic. That won't work out. Do you know how hard that is? Do you know how competitive that is? That's the very voice you're up against that's keeping you stuck. And these 4 questions are designed to get you away from that voice. Because if you never suspend that disbelief for just 10 minutes, you have to give yourself the permission to dream big and answer questions like this. People think it's just going to hit them. Just, I came alive with purpose. It doesn't work like that in my experience. Where others who are trying things and actively seeking it out and asking themselves tough questions like I'll give you in this video and like sourcing the inner work, those are the people who seem to fail their way, pivot their way into living a life with purpose. But this question is nothing without the next one. So we're talking about purpose, but let's first look at the opposite. If you sat down and you said, okay, what does a non-purposeful life look like? You'd get something like, maybe I go to a cubicle, or I'm just trading my hours for dollars, or I feel like there's no creativity. Same thing, different day, right? A level deeper, what's there is apathy, where you don't feel anything because you're numb and you've been doing it for so long. So if the opposite of purpose is no purpose, and no purpose looks like apathy, what's the opposite of apathy? I think it's excitement. Because if this is feeling nothing, this is feeling like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? I don't know, this is unpredictable, it's not routine. So this question, when do you come alive? What gets you excited? Like so excited. That right there, that enthusiasm and excitement. You know what enthusiasm in its Greek origin means? To be possessed by God. That is God within you, enthusiasm. So when you're excited about something, or when you're enthusiastic, That's literally God within you saying, yes, this is it, go for it. So this is asking yourself, when do you come alive? When do you feel excited? You can do this as a one and done, where you just make a list of what excites you. Or what's even better is start making a log of all the times throughout the week that you're excited. Just like you would keep a food log if you were trying to have a lot of energy and you're like, okay, what do I eat and how does it make me feel? Okay, when I eat kidney beans, I feel terrible. You probably shouldn't eat those. You start linking it together. Keep a log of all the times you're excited, all the times you feel enthusiastic, all the times you feel alive. And literally you can write just like 1 or 2 bullets in your phone. Over the course of a week or a month, you're gonna have so many different experiences and things and emotions that you feel alive with. So that question is amazing. I've used it at so many times in my life and I know it'll help you. But this next one looks at passion from a bit of a different angle. This one is very straightforward, and I personally used this when I was 23 years old. What would you pay to do, and how can you get paid to do it? Make a list right now of all the things you would pay money to do. These could be your experiences, these could be material things that you're buying, these could be information that you're spending money on, like books or topics, etc. Because that's a sign that you're paying to do something because you like it. So how could you get paid to do it? If you're like, I don't know, well, pull up your credit card statements for the last couple months and look at any areas you're spending a disproportionate amount of your money on. Disposable income on, okay? So not rent. Another angle on this is when you have a spare 1 to 2 hours, what are you consuming? You know, there's content online. It's about everything. Like just look at your own TikTok feed or your Instagram feed or whatever. What are you consuming? What pops up? What topics pop up over and over again? Those are good signs right there of things you're passionate about or things you care about. You know, for this one, when I was in my mom's basement, 30 grand in debt, struggling with all the different options out there, 2 things popped up. The first is I was consuming a lot of content online, YouTube primarily. And the second was that I was really into self-improvement books. I would hear book recommendations and I would order it. Okay, how to win friends and influence people, boom, I would order it and I would read it and I'd get so excited, have so much enthusiasm like I told you earlier. So I started putting those 2 things together, YouTube, self-improvement books. And what I did was I just started distilling down the 10 big ideas from the book. Knowing that I would pay for the books, I would pay for the YouTube gear. How can I get paid to do it? I wasn't necessarily thinking about money at the time, but I was just like, let me share this information, these 10 big ideas. And that was the first series that really popped on this channel and got us our initial, 30,000 or so subscribers. So that's an example right there, a very small example of a seed that was planted that grew into what you are seeing and watching now. By asking that one question, what would you pay to do and how can you get paid to do it? This question might be the most important one. What are your strengths and how can you use them daily? Now for this, a little setup here. There's a psychologist named Martin Seligman. He's the OG, godfather in positive psychology. Up until around the 60s, psychology was just studying what was wrong with people. What are all the phobias out there? Or all the, what's wrong in the psyche? And Martin Seligman saw that and he was like, well, what actually makes us happy? Instead of taking us from depressed to well, how do we go from well to flourishing? And he took all his research and work, and one of the things he came down to and boiled it all down to, for you to be truly happy and feel alive, feel like you have passion, you need to know your strengths and use them often. When you know your strengths and use them often, you feel like you're good at something, which builds self-esteem, which builds positive momentum. It's the difference between you crushing it in a game and you feeling like you're getting your ass kicked all the time. That's literally how life feels when you use your strengths versus when you're doing something that's really hard and unnatural for you. And so for this, I would highly recommend you look at a strengths test. Authentic Happiness is a good one by Martin Seligman, but an easy mainstream one, and in the first 2 weeks of Metamorphic, we have every one of our clients do it, is the Myers-Briggs 16 personalities test. You'll get a 4-digit code like ENFJ. That's what I am. Literally just read the profile on there and it'll tell you all your strengths and weaknesses. It'll tell you career paths to get in, to avoid, notable figures who probably you have similar traits to. Now, I'm not saying just pick a career off that and okay, there you go. But at least that's a good place for you to start. The more self-awareness you can have about your strengths, what you're naturally good at, the better. Because oftentimes You undervalue what you're good at because it comes natural to you. Like if you're really good with people and it comes natural to you, you just assume that everybody's as good as you with people naturally. Like, yeah, that's no big deal. You just go up and talk to them. Versus someone with crippling social anxiety. I'm not saying they can't improve on that. I'm not saying they're screwed, but they look at the way you do it as a superpower. They're like, holy cow, how do you just talk to people without getting in your head, without doubting like that is amazing. There's a beautiful quote by Pablo Picasso. It says, the meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give your gift away. You want a life that's fulfilling, know your strengths and use them often. You want a life with purpose, you know your strengths, use them often, and give them away to others. Give them away in service to others and watch yourself come alive. It feels good. Take these 4 questions. What would you pay to do? How can you get paid to do it? What are your strengths? How can you use them daily? What would you do if you knew you could not fail? And when do you come alive, feel enthusiastic and excited? You take that, you bust out your journal, you give yourself an hour to really dig down, and don't just take the first thing that comes out. Really dig a little bit, work a little bit here. And I guarantee you're gonna walk away with way more self-awareness. You might just walk away finding your purpose. Thanks so much for watching, spending time together here. I'll link up right here a perfect follow-up. It's on identity shifting. This is really, instead of focusing on where you're going, focusing on who you're becoming. Perfect follow-up here to reinvent yourself. Again, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Stop settling, start living. See ya.